Hello summoners and welcome back to Mobalytics, where today we have the patch 9.3 tier list Q&A video. Hey, so something that I wanted to shout out super quickly before we started. I just wanted to make sure you guys are up to speed and know what's going on, especially with the patch. Riot actually went ahead and nerfed this new Kleptomancy plus Spell Thieves combination for going top lane. If you were unaware or you have been off of Reddit recently, you would not know that a lot of people have been doing this Karma top lane or Zillion top lane and taking these supportive style champions who just go top lane with Kleptomancy and start a Spell Thieves, and all they do is poke you and just try to farm off of you. They totally ignore the minions because of the Spell Thieves, and you can honestly just trade constantly and earn just as much gold as you would by CSing. Riot thought this was extremely unhealthy for the game, and I would honestly say that I agree as well. But regardless, they went ahead and kind of hotfixed this and removed this, and in turn slightly buffed supports as well. So for Ancient Coin and Spell Thief users, you actually did get a nice small little buff on this patch because of the fact that Karmas and Zillions and all of them were taking it top lane. So just something to note before we start. I just wanted to make sure you guys are up to speed. Our first question this week coming from YouTube is from Manuel Tiong saying, press the attack MF. So this was in our suggested rune page for Hewitt's pick of the patch last time on the tier list, and press the attack MF is probably better than you might think, especially when going the crit build, since you usually will get more attack speed than in your build if you went lethality. If you go Ghostblade into Duskblade and then like Lord Dominic's or Black Cleaver, you get almost no attack speed in that build. However, if you go press the attack with things like a Static Shiv and an Infinity Edge, she can be quite effective with PTA. However, Misfortune does have plenty of rune options: Dark Harvest, Comet, Airy. I've even seen Kleptomancy MF, but I would say Dark Harvest and Comet are also pretty good options as well. Just if you're going the crit build, make sure you try out that press the attack MF. Our next question comes from Santiago Cassiet saying, you didn't talk about Silas. Alright, Silas is an interesting champion, definitely one that people are picking up and playing a lot more, and if you watched NALCS last week, we were able to see Silas from Licorice. He also took the Kleptomancy top lane, but just played him more as a bruiser early game and then went ahead and built full AP. It seems like Silas is a decently good top laner and a decently good jungler. I'm not sure how good his mid lane AP build is, and we've even seen some tank Silas with Grasp of the Undying. We've even seen some Aftershock and Kleptomancy Silas going bruiser builds with Iceborne Gauntlet and Visage. I personally think that maybe tank Silas is worth recommending in B tier, and maybe A tier AP Silas for high elo. But I don't know how good this champion is right now. We'll give it one more week to figure out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up putting him maybe B or A tier next time. It's just hard to say at the moment. A lot of people are struggling to win on him, but that's also because he's a brand new champion. I think he's actually quite good, so I would say try him out top lane, both AP and Bruiser if you want to play him, and then maybe even full tank with Aftershock. Our next question is from Lamb and Wolf, said directly to me, hey Kellen, I've been playing Kindred for a few weeks now, but there's something I am still not really sure about, is the build. Do you think the on-hit Bloodrazor, Bork, Black Cleaver, Runan's build is better than the AD crit build of Warrior, PD, Rapid Fire Cannon, Shiv, IE, and Stormrazor? I think the on-hit build just allows for easy objective control and better dueling in general, but that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Great video as always. So Kindred is a champion that is super interesting now because of the crit buffs and itemization changes, because she's one of the few junglers that can actually build a crit, along there with Graves. I do think that the AD crit build is better than ever before because of the changes to the crit items, but you're probably better off still with the on-hit. I would agree with you. However, I will redirect you to Forest Within's profile. He is one of the highest rated Kindred mains in the world, and he is definitely a dedicated Kindred player. His build right now looks like Blue Smite Warrior or Blue Smite into the Bloodrazor, and then things like Ghostblade, Shiv, IE. He kind of prefers to go Ghostblade first, so some lethality into crit, but definitely check out his profile and see how it works, and you can also check out his GPI over on Mobalytics. It'll show you kind of how his playstyle looks. If you're a Kindred main, the best place to look is this guy for sure, and I hope that helped. Our last question from YouTube is from the Dolphin Gamer YouTube. Wilkes says, where is Tryndamere in the top lane list? Tryndamere is extremely interesting to me because of the crit changes as well. Similar to Kindred, I think Tryndamere is quite good, and maybe it was a bit of an oversight on our part not to include him in the list. I think that Tryndamere has a place in top lane now, going things like Phantom Dancer or Shiv into Infinity Edge. The thing is that with Tryndamere, just having no CC and solo queue does kind of suck a little bit, but with split push potential and the snowball potential of the champion, you can do well and carry some games on Tryndamere, especially once you get in lower elo. I think that more or less you're going to be doing much better on Tryndamere, and all the way up until like low masters, you're not really going to struggle that much to win some games. I think Tryndamere we should put around B or A tier next time, probably close to B tier. We have two questions this week from Instagram. The first one is from AngryGinger01 saying, why is Shen in B tier? Aren't there new items or something? Because he is still trash, can't farm under tower, needs too much gold to be effective. For the first part of your questions about items, yes, Riot actually did buff Sunfire Cape a couple of patches ago, which makes Shen pretty darn good. On top of that, tank itemization has been better, and overall systemic damage in the game has been lowered, Ignite is lowered, AD and adaptive damage is lowered, and resistances are up. Shen actually is pretty solid. On top of that, the Shield Bash rune was really good introduction into the game for him as well. It allows him to trade extremely effectively. Shen is a solid B tier tank. The only reason why he's not A or S tier is he's simply outclassed by things like Sion and Urgot, and the more those tanks get nerfed and the more times he's able to play against Rivens and Irelias, matchups he does very well into, Shen can be extremely effective, especially since he blocks their auto attacks. And our final question this week, coming from My Name is Soups, says, amazing tier list. With my main jungler of the past falling hard out of the meta, I was looking for a new one to pick up. Might give Nunu and Willump and Shaco a go. Anyway, I was wondering where's Talon. I'd imagine he'd be pretty strong with the new Infinity Edge and his Q crits. The thing about building crit on Talon with the IE, yeah, it does actually increase the damage on your Q, but it's probably just too expensive. I would say there's almost no way, unless you're looking at 5 or 6 items, to build Infinity Edge on Talon. Lethality and Cleaver and the buffed Lord Dominic's Regard will be better for you, but Talon is fantastic in high elo. He's actually an A or S tier champion in high elo for us, and he does extremely well. Talon is one of the best solo queue champions at the moment. The only problem with him is that they did nerf other things about him, like for example, recently Ignite was nerfed, recently they introduced more resistances into the game, and recently it's been more of a tank meta. So all of those things combined make him not top tier, but Talon is a fantastic solo queue champion, especially into certain comps. You have no problem at all one-shotting Sorakas and Sonas and Janna's bot lane. You can easily kill all of the Dravens and all of the Tristanas you're playing against, all of the Jinxes. The only problem is if it's like a full tank comp with an Orianna mid lane and an Ezreal ADC, it's just too hard for you to play the game into those types of compositions. But if you're able to get the snowball rolling, usually it doesn't even matter. So if you like Talon, make sure you give him a try. I don't know, maybe you could build IE 5th item, you never know. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the patch 9.3 tier list Q&A. If you have any more questions, make sure you leave them down below. I'll do my best to read them and respond to them. Thank you guys for watching, and check out the product at mobalytics.gg.